Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. The strange case of Michelle Carter turns out to be being better suited to a documentary than a drama, as the Girl From Plainville, Hulu Starks shares 8-episode series, proves far too inward and clenched despite Elle Fanning's convincing portrayal of the central player in the texting suicide case. What New York Magazine reporter Marin Cogan described as a thoroughly modern romance, conducted almost entirely online, represents the major hurdle for the producers from a dynamic and dramatic standpoint, since the two only met a few times. They grapple with a digital divide by deciphering many of their text exchanges of what amount of in-person conversations, an understandable dramatic device that nevertheless feels as if it blurs all the contours of the relationship. The story hinges on the death of Conrad Coco Roy III, Colton Ryan, who took his own life after Carter Fanning prodded him to do so. Later, she offered inconsistent stories about what happened, which eventually resulted in her trial and conviction of involuntary manslaughter charges. The star-crossed romance thus reflects the struggles of these troubled teens, but in a way that blunts the impact of the drama. More sober than made-for-lifetime unpinnings, the fight for fantasy and what-ifs is the presentation does entirely work, however well-intended. Indeed, both Carter and Roy, or Coco as family called him, come across as ignapic figures, failing to produce as much insight into what made either of them tick. That's through no fault of the stars. Fanning aptly captured Carter's distant, haunted quality, including her preoccupation with the show Glee and identification with Lea Michele's character and the tragic death of co-star Corey Monteith. Perhaps in part because of the nature of the kids, the focus pivots towards the families. Carter's father marvels as he listens to her discuss Roy. "You never talked about him, we never even heard his name," she says at one point, while Roy's distraught mother, Chloe Sevigny, is understandably confused by what Michelle characterizes as a grand romance. She is also wary of how Carter seems to be feeding off the attention and sympathy associated with being known as her son's grieving-stricken girlfriend. Hulu has enjoyed a solid run of late with fact-based limited series, The Dropout and Pam and Tommy, featuring young blonde women in very different predicaments, and the appetite for true crime, particularly with this sort of modern youthful twist, appears pretty unclear, unquenchable. Still, viewers frankly came away with a much better sense of Carter's story with the HBO documentary I Love You, Now Die than they will be from watching this. Truth can be stranger than fiction, but in this case, non-fiction is considerably more illuminating than drama. Thanks for listening. For more celebrity news, please like, comment, and subscribe.